Hi, this is Doug, and today I'm going to show you how to change the brakes on a 2004 Mercedes C230. And if this video helps you out, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, really appreciate it. Thank you. This is similar for all 2001 through 2007 C-Class models. It's a good idea to have a Torx wrench set for your Benz. The only other supply I need, just one brake pad wear sensor for my car. We're going to start in the front. You can jack up your front axle. There's a little pad in the middle, right in the front of the car. And we're going to rest it down on our jack stands. Make sure you put your tires face up so you don't scratch those rims. Now we need to support our caliper so that we don't put pressure on that brake line when we pull it off. A rope or a bungee works. An 18mm hex socket to break the bolts that are in the back there. I got two of them, one there and there's one more down there. We're just going to loosen those up and take them out. And we're also going to remove the brake pad wear sensor. Now we need to make a little bit of room to pull off the caliper because those brake pads have become embedded in the groove. You're going to need a T30 torx wrench to remove the holding screw. Now we can take the brake caliper off, let it hang, take off our old rotor, put on the new one, put our holding screw back in, and torque it down just kind of snug. We can put our caliper back on, put the bolts back in, and we're going to torque that down to 80 foot-pound. Now we can get that rope out of there. Now I'm using a pin punch here, but you can also use maybe a nail or something like that. And you need to knock back these little pins and take them out of there to get the brake pads out. We're going to reuse those. Hang on to them. The brake pads should just pull right out. And now we're going to put the new ones in. And they should slide right in. You may need to push the piston on the caliper back just a little bit to give you some space. But you should not have to force those pads in. Don't hammer them in or do anything crazy. They should slip right in. So we're just going to put our retaining clip back on, slip the pins back through, and we're going to hammer them in flush. And we're going to put back in our brake pad wear sensor, the new one. I only have one, it's only on the front right side of my car. And now we're going to do the rear brakes. I jack it up on the rear differential. Again, I'm going to rest it on my jack stands. And same story, you're going to use that pin punch to knock out that little pin and hang on to that in the retaining clip. Two bolts again, one there, one down there. It's a 16mm hex socket that I'm using. And be careful when you break these bolts. You don't want that breaker bar, or in this case I'm using a ratchet, you don't want it to hit that brake line. We're going to remove the holding screw. And we're going to support that brake caliper. This case I had to actually move that brake pad back a little bit. That allowed me to pull it off. Can knock out my brake pads, and I'm going to use a bungee this time and hang it on my coil springs. Now it's stuck. I'm moving it side to side, but that's not a problem. Just use something like a PB blaster, some sort of penetrating oil, and let it rest on there for 15 minutes. You could even turn it a little bit. Make sure your emergency brake is off. You can hit it with a hammer. Let it rest, try it again, come back and hit it on the back. That worked for me. We're going to put our new rotor on. And again, just going to tighten that down snug. It's a little tricky with the rear rotor because there's a drum for the emergency brake in there. It gets stuck sometimes. Same story, torque it down to 80 foot-pound. You could even use some Loctite thread locker. Brake pads again should slip right in very easily. Do not force. Probably the hardest part of this job is this, holding that retaining clip down just enough that you can slip the rod in. As you do this job, be sure to check your brake fluid level to make sure you're not pushing fluid out of your master cylinder. Make sure your levels are good when you're done. And that's it. Thanks a lot. I hope this helped you out, and please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.